Sailing takes me away, away I always dreamed. What's going on? Wildin' Out Wednesdays. How you feeling? How you feeling? I know I've been pretty heavy with the political stuff lately, but you know what? We're going to take it a little light today because it is hump day. It's the middle of the week, and we want to talk about where I had been for the 4 days that you hadn't seen me, or 3.5 days, or whatever. We went down to Orlando. Shout out to Will, my barber and close friend. Had a birthday celebration. Shout out to Ish, his wife, and Sharon and Mika for really doing a great job putting everything together with the travel plans. So, flew into Orlando, caught the cruise, going out to the Bahamas on Carnival. You know, the one that everybody was seeing and saying, hey, if you'd like to enjoy a Jet2 holiday, meme that people were using, that showed a bunch of people, black people mostly, fighting on a cruise. But let me explain this to you. It was no fights at all. At all. Nothing. That I saw. Nothing at all. All I saw was people being happy, having a good time. Now, let me just break it down for you a little bit and say, you know, because some people haven't been, like it was my first time ever going on a cruise. So for some people, this is their first time. Some people, it was their 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time. And I'm sure when you do things, although you get the lay of the land, there is a different experience that you may have yourself personally each time. So, even for me, the one thing, well, let me back up. So, I got a room by myself because I went by myself or whatever. And I didn't want a roommate. So, basically, it was a 3-day trip to the Bahamas. The room was roughly about $700. You know, sometimes I don't really like to approximate because I know stuff hops up and down. But it was around the $675, $700 mark for a single room. I was on the first floor. Bad idea. Unless it was like desperation, I make sure I never do that again. And you may say, well, why, Greg, you don't want the first floor? Well, because I felt like I was like this most of the time when I was sleeping. I guess when the ship stopped or it was going slower or whatever it was. And then one night it was like, I was laying there sleeping and I kept hearing a boom. Like it wasn't like a boom, like a crash, but like a boom, like a wave just smacked the back of the boat, the side of the boat, whatever part of the boat I was on. Felt like it just hit it right there. So, and I'm assuming I was near the front of the boat because when I looked down the hall, it felt like about a half mile away. And the boat was going this way. So I'm assuming I was at the front of the boat. Housekeeping and everything was great. Now, here's the thing. If you are a person who's going on a cruise for the first time or is thinking about it, I kind of want you to think about it as like dining out in a sense where everything is pretty much a la carte. And you will learn fast that some of the stuff you may not have chosen beforehand, you're going to find out about it. Like for instance, they charge a $48 gratuity just for, the amenities, the staff that are in there, that are there. So there's a $48 charge. And what happens is that it just pops up on your credit card because you got to hold a credit card or debit card, or either when you get there, you got to go to guest services and give them cash so that way they can deduct from whatever you get. So you may say, well, all of the food is free and stuff like that. But when you go to the captain's dinner, there is a surcharge. They still charge you for sodas and drinks. If you don't have the drink package, we'll get into that in a second. But there was an upcharge if you wanted surf and turf, a fillet and a lobster tail. So there was a $25 upcharge. The meal was free, but the upcharge was $25 per person if that's what you wanted. So when the waiter goes to run your key card that you get, that opens your door until it has all your information on your information for your card. For even at the bar, they swipe it. They don't accept any cash or credit cards at any of the bars. So it's all just swiped on your key card. So the waiter will take it and he will charge your room the $25 for the surf and turf or whatever else they had that was a premium dining item on there. Also, it does it for the casino, does it for a few different things. So that's the one thing that I had to learn. So like I was saying before, now let's get into the drink package. So some of us who really don't drink a lot or maybe moderately or whatever, you feel to yourself, hey, listen, a drink is probably what, $12, $13. You give them a couple dollar tip, maybe you be up to about $15 per drink. And you say to yourself, hey, listen, I'm only going to drink maybe, let's just say, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 drinks a day. So you're thinking to yourself, man, that's maybe about $60, $70. So $60, $70. And then you start to think about it. And as time goes on, you're like, wait a minute. Why didn't my dumb self get the drink package? Because the drink package, I think, was about, once again, not approximating any numbers. The drink package was about $80 per day. So it would have been another $240 surcharge. Like I was saying, the a la carte experience. So it would have been another $240, maybe $250. So now that would have brought my $700 cheaper cruise to now a $1,000 cruise. But looking back in hindsight, I definitely would have done it because we had paid this cruise off early. So I should have just went ahead and just got the drink package. So that way I didn't have to worry. Because what wound up happening was the things I got charged for were only drinks. That's it. So all of the drinks I had came out to about, minus that gratuity of $48, the one-time $48 staff gratuity, minus that, I still wound up spending $150. So guess what? For another $100, I should have just bought the drink package. So that's a big one, because the drink package also encompasses sodas too. Now sometimes they'll give you a soda or whatever, but it encompasses, and you can bring in your own 12-pack of sodas. Also, you can no longer bring in bottled water. You have to bring in that DEFCON, whatever, the mini cans of water. They do a thorough job at checking everything. So don't think that you're going to get through it they have sniffing dogs and all this other kind of stuff. It's almost like another TSA when you go to get on the cruise. But once again, would I do it again? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it is now, I'll put it to you like this. Maybe I would try a different type of cruise, maybe a singles cruise or something like that with fewer kids, because the kids weren't really that bad. And I understand that they're kids, but sometimes when you want to chill, like one night on the Lido deck, which is the main deck of, I guess, all of Carnival ships, that's outdoors with a pool, and they have the big movie monitor playing. And it sounds and looks really good. We were out there trying to watch The Great Gatsby on our last night, while we were at the bar drinking. And, there were some kids out there playing and stuff like that. They were a little loud, but, for the most part, I would prefer to be somewhere where it was just, all adults and not even have to worry about that. But once again, it's an affordable 3-day cruise and people have to do what they got to do. So I understand. Food. Overall food, of course, the food is the one thing along with your room that is included. But I got to say the food left a lot to be desired. The food wasn't that great. Let me see. Let me check my pros and cons here. Okay. The food was left a lot to be desired. Now they have the chef Guy Fieri. They have one of his stations in there that serve these unbelievable smash burgers. But of course, you can't eat smash burgers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, can you? Well, maybe some people do. They actually have a deli in there that serves a kind of replica Philly cheesesteak and a buffalo chicken sandwich. So a lot of times, I didn't even eat breakfast. What I would do is come up maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock and just get a deli sandwich from their deli, like I said, or they also had Southwest chicken wraps. You can get them with or without the bacon, and they give you a plate of fries. I'm so sick of French fries, but that's what they do to help make sure that you stay full. So what I didn't do, I only went the first day is when I went to the actual buffet line. But besides that, that was the only time in 3 days that I had eaten there. So I just learned to suck it up and just really concentrate on lunch and dinner at the deli or either Guy Fieri's burger joint or whatever it was. So, food, like I said, left a lot to be desired. Drinks, okay. I don't know about you. I don't know if you've ever been to Cancun, Jamaica, any of the other places. But I know for me, when I'm here in the States, hey, look, one Long Island have me looking like this. If I drink 2 Long Islands, I'd be like this, kind of like how my room was that first couple nights on the boat. So if I had 2 or 3 there, I kind of didn't really feel much. And I know that that's typically, in my experience over the years of traveling, going to islands and places like that, that the alcohol is just not as strong. And I know it has to be purposeful, because there's just no way. I've had too many of these experiences now, and the alcohol is not set to get you, whatever. I guess that's why the drink packages, they allow you, I think, 15 drinks per package each day. And on top of that, you got to wait, I think it's 5 or 10 minutes before you order the next drink. So, but you only get 15, and that's it. So, and you would figure 15 drinks, you would figure, shoot, after 2 or 3 drinks, you would be done. You might not even need the other 12 or whatever. But I'm sure that they figured out a way to, let's just not make it too strong enough. Let's just make it strong enough where they still want to order the drink package and pay that additional $250 to drink some spirits on the boat. And I look at it like this with Carnival. If you go, you want to have a good time. You bring a spouse, you bring somebody. They have a club. They have a comedy shows that they have each night. They have also a casino in there for you gamblers, people who do that. But what I will say is that overall, I had a decent time. And I know it depends on who you go with. There was a lot of us that went, but you know how it is. Everybody kind of goes off and does their own singular thing, and that's cool also. And then we come back together for meals and, just different things like that. The last part I want to talk about, to me, which was kind of a con, was and a con more than just not like a disadvantage, but a con as far as a true con. Whereas I've been to the Bahamas before. I've been to Freeport. I've never been to Nassau. But I had gone to Freeport years ago. And so, you feel like you do get to experience at least the Bahamian experience to an extent. This deal is where they park and they let you go on this island, but it's in the Bahamas, of course, but it's like, I don't want to call it man-made, because I guess it is a real, sand and all that other kind of stuff. But then they have these huge pools and swings, and it's aesthetically, it looks nice. You can do ATVing and stuff like that. But it's almost like you go from being on a ship to like the ship's larger playground or something like that, where you got more room to swim and drink and all that other kind of stuff. Because even when you go there, when you go to any of the bars there, you have to use your key card to swipe and buy drinks. Even there, you can't use a credit card. You cannot use cash, only to tip in cash. So overall, out of 10, what would I give my first time Carnival Cruise experience? I would give it a strong 7. I wish and hope that in the future, the food is a little better. The lemonade nice tea, gotta make that better. So, just expecting a little higher quality of food and drink overall. All right, just a little better quality, more on the level of that Guy Fieri burger, smash burger thing in the deli that they have. With the rocking, I guess you can't really do much about that. We were on the Carnival Glory. So that ship, I believe they said, came out in 2003. So it's a relatively old ship. They've tried to aesthetically upgrade it and make it look a little better, but I could tell it still has a lot of older looking furnishings. And who knows how long it'll be in service with their fleet. But I am looking forward to, if I go again, going on probably a newer ship or a nicer ship, even if I got to pay a little more. But at least next time I know what to do. So I hope this helped you out a little bit if you were thinking about going on a cruise or a Carnival Cruise. Or, hey, leave a comment. Tell me what your experience was going on a Carnival Cruise. And, hey, how many times have you gone? Lastly, hey, so far I've only seen comments from Carl and Ray. So, hey, if I got to do a toss-up and one of them wins the $50 for this week, then so be it. So make sure you get in there, like, subscribe, comment, so I can give away this $50. You know what I'm saying? It's burning a hole in my pocket. I don't even know what I'm going to do. It's burning a hole in my pocket. But you tell me, what would you do if somebody came up to you and said, live life, don't let life live you?